You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Do you guys know what the alkaline diet is? Maybe you've heard of alkaline water. So I'm going to share what the diet is, foods to avoid, foods to eat, and neutral foods for the alkaline diet, and the benefits, if there are any, right? So today, we're keeping it short and sweet, but I really wanted to just touch on this topic because it is a hot one for sure. You guys already know this, but you're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Let's get right into the episode. I'm always excited when I get to share about fatty 15. This is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. It is an incredible scientific breakthrough to support our long-term health and wellness, and you guessed it, healthy aging. Fatty 15 repairs age-related damage to cells, protects them from future breakdown, and activates pathways in the body that help regulate our sleep, cognitive health, and natural repair mechanisms to support our overall health. I started taking Fatty 15 about 2 years ago, and I talk about it all the time on my Instagram. And if you're one of the millions that's already familiar with it but have yet to pull the trigger, well, now's your chance because Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. Right now, you can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/digest and use code DIGEST at checkout. That's fatty15.com/digest to get this amazing offer. I hope you love it just as much as my husband and I do. Okay, so what is the alkaline diet? What is the food list? What are the rules? All that good stuff. And what can it help with? So the alkaline diet it's also called the alkaline ash diet or alkaline acid diet. And it was made popular by its celebrity followers. Now, what is it? So the premise of the alkaline diet is that the foods we eat affect our blood's pH balance. You may recall from chemistry class that pH is a measure of how acidic or alkaline something is. It ranges from 0 to 14. 0 is extremely acidic, 7 is considered neutral, and 14 is very alkaline. Proponents of the alkaline diet believe that diets high in certain foods, such as meat and grains, and low in others, such as potassium-rich vegetables and fruits, can cause imbalances in blood pH that leads to a variety of other health problems. This is known as the acid-ash hypothesis, which is why the alkaline diet is sometimes known as the acid-ash diet. Now, the alkaline diet does encourage fairly healthy eating patterns, including emphasizing unprocessed and plant-based foods and limiting red meat and refined grains. One study found that following the alkaline diet would increase several micronutrients such as potassium and magnesium, which could help lower the risk of hypertension and stroke and improve cardiovascular health, bone health, and cognition. Now, limiting red meat, in my opinion, is probably not the best thing just because the benefits of red meat are incredibly amazing. And I personally just believe we should be eating a lot of red meat. I personally love it. But eating tons of red meat may also come with its own issues. You see, proteins are made up of molecules called amino acids. These are the building blocks of many bodily tissues, especially muscle. Quote, complete proteins contain all 9 essential amino acids necessary for protein synthesis. Red meat, eggs, and dairy are all complete proteins. Pea protein is also a complete protein, unlike most plant-based proteins, which are not. Now, the biggest difference between dairy proteins such as whey and casein and pea protein is that pea protein is fairly low in methionine, and it's a tad lower in branched-chain amino acids. Now, methionine is a key essential amino acid for muscle protein synthesis. It is also what gives many animal-based proteins their high acidity. In fact, low methionine content is one reason that pea protein powder is only weakly acidic and supports an alkaline state. So, this is quite interesting and good news if you consume pea protein powder because it can help balance everything out, especially if you do consume a lot of red meat. So, if you do consume a high animal based diet, the acid forming nature of animal protein sources may slowly impair kidney function and other bodily processes. Research suggests that consuming more pea protein could effectively help the negative ramifications of high animal protein intake. Thus, including both will have the best overall health benefit to balance each other out. And get this, you guys. Pea protein may play a role in reducing inflammation and could be used as an alternative therapy for the prevention of inflammatory related diseases. And that is a quote, by the way, from that particular study. So, how does the alkaline diet work exactly? So, the alkaline diet classifies foods according to how much acid they produce when digested. That amount isn't necessarily the same as the acidity level of foods in their raw state. Acid forming foods produce a pH lower than 7, while alkaline foods result in a pH level greater than 7, just as I previously mentioned. So, any foods that are around 7 are considered neutral. Keep that in mind. Now, the diet recommends avoiding acid forming foods such as meat, dairy, fish, eggs, grains, and alcohol. Consuming plenty of alkaline forming foods such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes. So those are the baseline rules. Limiting neutral foods such as starches, sugars, and natural fats. People with chronic kidney disease may also benefit from focusing on an alkaline based diet because too much protein is hard on the kidneys. In one review article, the author argued that by reducing acid load to the kidneys through a low protein diet with an emphasis on plant proteins, you may be able to slow kidney disease progression and improve kidney function. So, can the alkaline diet help with weight loss? I'm sure you're wondering. That's a hot topic. Well, there's some evidence that following an alkaline diet may help preserve muscle mass, and muscle burns more calories. So, in an indirect way, yes. This was an interesting study. Now, this study found that following a more alkaline diet was positively associated with higher muscle mass indexes in women, particularly, likely because fruits and vegetables contain potassium and magnesium, which help maintain muscle. What you may not know is that just like calcium, the majority of magnesium is found in our bones. 50 to 60% of magnesium is present in the bones, and most of the rest of it is in the soft tissue. So, our bones really need magnesium. But it doesn't stop there. One of the primary functions of magnesium is that we need it to make proteins in our body. Whatever kind of protein you're taking, you need magnesium to process it. And the kind that I always recommend is from Bioptimizers, and it's called Magnesium Breakthrough. It has all 7 forms of magnesium. Different types of magnesium serve for different functions in the body. And sadly, a lot of magnesium supplements on the market only provide you with 2 to 3 types of magnesium. So go to bioptimizers.com/digest and use code DIGEST at checkout, and you'll get a special offer. And they have a 365-day money-back guarantee, which means you can try Magnesium Breakthrough for an entire year risk-free. If you're not satisfied, they will give you your money back. Again, that's bioptimizers.com/digest and use code DIGEST. Now, let's talk about the foods to eat and not eat in particular, going a little bit more in depth here. So, these foods are organized around the pH levels of individual foods. Some versions of this diet are less strict, meaning that they may allow grains for their health benefit despite their slightly acidic pH. But generally, if you try the alkaline diet, you'll want to follow the food list I'm about to explain, steering clear from acidic foods, limiting or avoiding neutral foods, and focusing on all alkaline foods. All right, so these are the acid-forming foods, aka the foods to avoid per the alkaline diet, and that is meat, poultry, fish, milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, eggs, grains, alcohol, soda, lentils, peanuts, and walnuts, packaged and processed food. Neutral foods to limit are natural fats such as olive oil and butter, starches including corn and sweet potatoes, and sugars. Now, the alkaline forming foods to eat. Now, these are the foods to really focus on. They say that most all fruits, non-starchy vegetables, almond milk, mineral water, pea protein, almonds, coconut, and avocado oils. So there isn't a specific meal plan or guide, although you can follow recipes that you can find online or form just an alkaline diet or recipe just from the foods that I listed. This is all just research and what proponents of the alkaline diet are saying. What is my personal take? I'm sure you want to know. So my take is, well, the alkaline diet, it may be beneficial in the short term for certain conditions, right? That's great. But following it long term could have negative effects and result in nutrient deficiencies. So I think that incorporating alkaline foods, such as pea protein, for example, can truly help balance out the animal protein that you're consuming and other alkaline foods that you eat. You guys know I love my yogurt, right? I eat it daily for gut health, and apparently it's very high acidic, right? So balance is key here. If you're not consuming a balanced diet, then you may be off on one end of the spectrum or the other. So just keep that in mind. Now, a lot of the foods to eat that they say are alkaline forming, the good ones, right? A lot of them are a lot of vegetables. And I know you guys don't eat a lot of vegetables. I don't either. I just don't. I think they can cause a lot of gut issues. You guys know my take on that. So a lot of these foods can actually cause some IBS symptoms. I know that pea protein for me, it's so beneficial, especially the Bethany's Pantry pea protein, because it's lectin free. So ours, we actually remove the lectins. So there's no lectins in it. That's why I feel like, I don't know why, but so many people come to me and they're like, Bethany, I can have your digestive support protein powder, but other pea protein powders, I can. Like, why is that? I truly believe that because we remove the lectins, that is a game changer among all the other things. Like we don't add gums, we don't add natural flavors or stevia or monk fruit or anything like that. So that's just one piece of the puzzle, why it's so easily digestible. And again, it's a complete protein. It does contain all 9 essential amino acids, which is very rare for a plant protein. So I take it pretty much almost every day in the form of protein fluff. Sometimes I will add it to a smoothie. I don't know why. I really like just making the protein fluff, and I add some Greek yogurt to it. So maybe that's why too, because the Greek yogurt is acidic apparently, and the pea protein is alkaline forming. So when I mix those two together, I just feel so good. And so I do believe that food combining in certain aspects has a huge benefit. That's just one. I think I'm going off on a tangent here. I've talked about food combining before. You can go back and listen to that episode. But this was just quite interesting. And I hope it kind of perked your interest a little bit. And just to be aware, just to not go too extreme on eating all acidic food or what have you. And if you are eating an animal-based a heavy animal-based diet full of animal-based proteins, maybe you should consider adding some pea protein into your diet to offset that, because it can be quite heavy and be producing an acidic aspect in your body. So anyways, I hope this was fun, insightful, and I will see you guys this Wednesday for a killer episode. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you ready to rock middle age? I'm Dr. Tina Moore, Gen X truth teller and holistic physician. On the Dr. Tina Show, one of Apple Podcast's top alternative health shows, I share what actually works for metabolic health, hormones, and strength, backed by decades of clinical results, not trends. From loving the gym and hitting your protein goals to peptides and microdosing GLP-1s, it's all done the right way, not the hype way. Because menopause doesn't have to suck if you're fit. New episodes every Thursday, produced by Drake Peterson and Wellness Loud.